This is a Sunday like no other, a season not like no other. It is rich in symbols and in signs. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, overpowering, mystifying, or mistaken. This Advent service is much like going from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, where all of a sudden you walk into the church and realize colors have changed, an intricate pattern of candles gets lit, someone has set up a barn for the altar, and all sorts of things might be different. It's also different for me. As a matter of fact, many churches have different colors as the season for this particular Advent time, as purple. So at the earlier 8 o'clock service, I walked in with my purple robes on and saw that everything was decorated, I think as they should be, in blue. So at least now my socks match. But all these things, and the symbols and the imagery is often confusing. If you could imagine maybe being a person new to this place, or a person new to the Christian faith, and walking in and wondering, what does all this mean? We take it for granted. The Advent wreath, lovely as it is suspended above us, is something that often resides as a table center for Christian households as candles get lit, one Sunday after the other, until they reach the Christ candle in the middle on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Having come from Germany recently, the Advent candle is something that is very prevalent in society, not necessarily in Christian society, but you'd be hard-pressed to turn on a news broadcast and not see an Advent wreath burning every single day off in the corner. So as symbols sometimes are well known, sometimes they are cherished and we have them as something of a favorite. Many churches have manger scenes that seem to be more ancient than the church, with figurines that are carefully preserved and managed, and there's a big sigh of relief when the donkey and the cow get placed gently into the manger. But there's other times in which we see these manger scenes that are modernized. Have you seen the one a few years ago that was produced as Mary and Joseph take selfie pictures of Jesus in the manger? Things change and adapt. But today, one of the things that I want to talk to you about is the season of Advent will have different imagery. One particular image that we have today from the reading from the Old Testament, from the prophet Isaiah, is one in which it seems almost like a God who is mighty and majestic and powerful, that can quake mountains and snap trees like toothpicks. This is something that is powerful and awe-inspiring. We can also hear, though, the pregnant expectation of waiting for the baby Jesus to arrive. Those images of, is it the Son of Man riding in on clouds, like the last judgment days, or is it the Prince of Peace lying in a quiet manger surrounded by animals? Both of these images we sort of hold hand in hand. And we might like to think of those images on our Advent journey and our Advent walk. There is, in the passage from the Gospel, words that talk about not knowing the time. Nobody knows, not the angels, nor the Son, but only the Father knows the time. The sun is blotted out. The moon no longer gives its light. The stars fall from heaven. Earlier in this year, we might have thought things like that. As people watched news footage from Australia as forest fires raged after a long, long drought. and the skies filled with smoke, so much so that the noonday sun was blotted out. Or even closer to home, when some provinces and states along the western coast had so much smoke from forest fires that nobody could see the sky. And when people woke up, they commented on Facebook, "I'm not sure if I woke up in the morning or in the evening." These signs and symbols exist in our everyday lives. And we are often people that would look for the signs that the sun has faded away, the moon has stopped giving its light, and the stars have fallen out of the sky. But there are other signs to be aware of. And Jesus talks a bit about being aware. He also says, be awake, stay awake, to be present to those signs of Advent, of Christ's coming. He gives reference to the fig tree and seeing the green that starts to grow and knowing that summer is approaching. Out on our church sign, it talks about the sign of hope. This Sunday service, we have a message of hope. So what is it in practical sense that you watch for? As you expect the Son of Man to come on clouds, and you expect the infant child in a manger, what is it that we're watching out for? What are we being attentive to? Maybe it's those small growth on the end of a branch of a tree that will give us hope. Maybe it is the small hope that one day I'll not be able to wear a mask when I preach to you. Maybe it's a small sign of something that gives you absolute delight, that tells you and assures you of God's love and faithfulness. As the season grows darker, even small glimpses of light will start to build. And symbolically they do around our Advent wreath. Just as animals flood into the manger scene, and other guests and the wise men in the back start to gather, they've collected the fourth wise person, Colleen. That as this menagerie grows, and as these lights start to burn brighter, that looking for those signs of hope will become a little bit easier, and that we'll be happy to stand and be attentive to the coming of the Son of Man on the clouds. And we'll be happy to be attentive to the crying baby Jesus in the manger. So no matter what image you think might be right this season, you might be like me, walking in wearing plaid and stripes, purple and blue. In each of these images, we know that there is a hope among us. Now, let's stay awake.